Hey there, everybody. Welcome back. It's me, Kay, and I did take my medication right before recording this. Waited a minute to let it kick in while I made some stairs. And holy cow, I sound and feel a lot different. My voice is even different because it's resonating differently. That's pretty cool. I actually feel a lot better. I think I'm probably going to use my inhaler before I start work each day from here on out. There we go. There's our little stop point. Let's dig this out and put in our stairs that we crafted just a minute ago off camera. There we go. Now I can get up and down there easily. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more floors of stairs to do. I don't have quite enough stairs, but that's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. We got plenty of space. Cool. Gonna do my diggy work now, and we're gonna talk a little bit more for this episode before we maybe do something more interesting. But last episode I talked about the fact that I don't take medication except in very specific cases, and that might seem a little strange, and it is a little strange. It's not something commonly done, but I will explain why that is. To explain that, I have to explain some things about myself. I'm not a particularly religious person, so it's not for religious reasons or anything like that. Although I'm a deep adherent to my personal philosophy, so I guess that's not really a religion, though. Religion implies some kind of like deific force. I guess it's due to my personal philosophies as a humanist. I'm a secular humanist. And I believe strongly, since nothing awaits me after death but oblivion, and I will cease to exist, that I believe that experiences while we're alive are incredibly important, incredibly valuable. So even negative experiences to me have value, like suffering and being sick and feeling bad. I don't want to, but I take... How do I explain that? It's very difficult to put into words how you feel sometimes. Because I value experiences, I even value the experience of being sick or suffering or having unhappy feelings and such. That's why I don't like to take things. I didn't like to do the whole antidepressants back in the day. I don't take painkillers unless it's so bad that I'm completely incapacitated and require it to function. I don't take medications that don't preserve my life or are required to function, like my anti-allergy medication, which I have to take because otherwise I couldn't even just do my work. So I value the experience from those things, and anything that I take artificially removes that experience. So I feel like sometimes because I understand what it is to suffer and feel terrible, I don't want to inflict suffering and bad feelings on other people. If that makes sense. It's a complicated philosophy. It's all very, very complicated. It's hard to explain it adequately, I think. But that's the main reason is I want the experience of things, even bad things. I don't really need that water bucket right now. But yeah, that's the reason I don't take my medication, and I figure I can get by that with the inhaler because it does help me work better, even if it removes the experience of me being sickly and not breathing well. Some people probably find that a little strange, and I can certainly see why. It is a strange philosophy to have, but it is the one that I've always had. Humanism is a big thing for me. I have a great deal of faith in humanity and believe in good in everyone, even the worst people. I try very hard not to hate anyone for any reason, things like that. It's a nice philosophy, and it gives me a lot of comfort. A lot of people ask me sometimes, because I come from a religious family, and the question is always, well, then if you don't believe in life after death, are you afraid to die? And the answer to that is no, actually. I'm not afraid to die. I'm bothered by death, and I certainly don't want to die. But I'm not really afraid of it because if I die, I won't experience it. You know, being dead and not believing in an afterlife means it's just the end of my existence. So there's really nothing for me to be afraid of there. There's an old a quote, I can't remember who it's attributed to, but I believe it's a Greek philosopher that says, "If I am here, death is not. If death is here, I am not. Why then should I be afraid of something that can only exist in my absence?" Really, my only problem with eventually dying is that I won't get to see and experience certain things that I want to see. I want to see what happens to humanity, things like that. I want to see if we go put people on other planets, space colonization, things like that. I want to see what comes of us if we fizzle out here on Earth or if we take to the stars and do amazing things. I think that would be a really interesting thing to be able to stick around and see. But, of course, that's so far in the future that it's probably out of my lifespan. Although, at the same time, with the way medical science advances, it's hard to say what's within one's lifespan anymore. We're kind of reaching that point where people's lifespans are going to start getting longer than the duration it takes to expand someone's lifespan again. And if we do ever get to that point where people are biologically roughly immortal, that will be amazing. There will be all sorts of social and political consequences of that, though. If everyone can live forever, what do we do to criminals who have life sentences? Do we condemn them to an actual eternity? Or do we commute them to a certain lifespan? Or do we put them to death instead? I mean, what do you do in that situation? If everybody's immortal, how does life sentence work? If everybody's immortal, how do life terms in offices work? There's a lot of things that have to be changed societally, but that's the nice thing about society is it can change overnight in huge, sweeping ways. And that's what always gives me hope that I'll make it to see some of the things I want to see, because a lot of them require humanity change drastically. But that's the beautiful thing. It just takes one person in the right place to say the right thing or do the right thing, and the whole world will change, just on the spot. And it'll happen so fast that you won't even notice it at first. See, the whole, the Arab Spring is a good example of that. A huge revolution was sparked just because other countries were sparking revolutions at the time. And it changed the governmental system of a lot of countries in the Middle East. And it's still kind of going on in some ways. Of course, corruption and stuff seeps back in there almost immediately, as it's wont to do, but things do change, and it gets harder for that to happen, which it did in that case, and was very interesting to see. I'm glad I got to observe that closely in an easy enough part of my life that I could pay attention, because that was truly a fascinating time. Let's see, we need to... Okay, this is where the water's going to pour out, basically. I'm going to have it in here pouring out. And it's going to fill this whole area. I'm going to have this recessed down to the bedrock, of course, which I will start doing pretty soon here. I think it's going to look really cool. This is going to be a very dramatic place because I wanted to, some people like to do this kind of thing in Minecraft. They want to, make a little place for people who are sponsors or patrons or donors or subscribers or just any kind of thing out there that you do, because it builds a community and it's kind of a nice way to say thanks for helping me. So I wanted to build a massively over-the-top one because I really love the help that I've gotten. It makes a huge difference. Also, I did want to say, in the interests of getting this out of the way, I did not have medical expenses, so don't worry about that. If you're like, oh no, he had a bunch of medical expenses, maybe I should send him money or something. No, not needed. My insurance actually covered the entire emergency room visit and covers my medication to the point that it's actually $2. So, yeah, I can foot $2. No problem. So don't worry about medical expenses. All my stuff on the Patreon is still going to Chay Plays and gaming stuff in general. I don't have medical problems that require expenses right now. So do not worry about that. I was very happy to see that myself. That was a big concern for me at first. Was, oh boy, what if this costs millions of dollars to treat some horrible condition I end up having? No. I was amazed to behold that my insurance covered it in its entirety. So, actually, unironically, thanks, Obama, for that one, because I couldn't get insured before the Affordable Health Care Act because I had pre-existing issues. Actually made a big difference for once. Now, today has kind of been interesting lately because I've been off and on with my health. Mostly I was just upset about my health, just depressed. But since I've gotten over that, I feel better about the whole thing because I have a condition. It doesn't depress me and I can treat it, which makes me feel better than I ever used to. And I feel so much better right now having taken that inhaler before this episode. And I'm pretty sure you guys can hear a difference in my voice, in the sound of my voice, and in my general lucidity, because I'm always kind of slightly dazed otherwise. Oh, hey there. There's some more redstone that I don't need anymore. I do need to make my I already made a compass. That's right, I made one off camera and made a little map of the surrounding area. We're going to use that to get around after we finish the patron shrine area. Let me just dig this out. There we go. Oh, we just exposed a big chunk of this, haven't we? Okay, so once we get this dug all the way out, we're going to put in the sandstone, and from here on out, we're going to basically have water underneath us. I'm going to have one last landing, which I don't know if I explained yet or not. It's going to go here, just like that landing up there works. It'll go here, it'll run straight into the cave. We'll cover this area off, and we'll access the cave a little more with a little bit of digging work so that we can walk around in there. And it will just be from here on down to bedrock, which is coming up pretty soon, actually. Wow. Oh, yeah, 15. Yeah, not a lot more blocks. Then we will just have a big pit of dark water that will look very fashionable, I think. Fashionable. I don't think that was the word I wanted. But it is actually really good to be back to work. I'm one of those people where my idea of, like, relaxing is doing work. I don't know what that's called. I guess workaholic, but I'm not really, like, unable to stop so much as I don't want to stop, particularly because I enjoy doing my work. But, yeah, I'm one of those people that work is a really big deal for, so I'm glad to be back to it and able to do it again. God! Okay, hang on. What can I do here? I don't have any more of that, do I? Crap. I'm going to have to get enough to make like 2 more blocks of that, which I will do off camera in the next episode. I have talked about me thoroughly, I think, and enough. There'll be some announcements for Chay Plays related stuff in the next episode, and then I'll probably call it because I have to ease back into work. I have a project to talk about in the next episode that will be fun, but that's all Chay Plays and video production related stuff, which I'll save for the next episode. Thank you guys for sticking with me, and thank you for sticking with me through my difficult period where I was kind of off on medical leave. I do appreciate that a lot. I love all the fans a whole lot, and I am super, super totally okay, so don't worry about me. I know some people do from time to time, and it's totally alright. I am 100% fine. I just had a problem for a little while. There's more redstone on this side. Well, I will see you guys in the next episode. I got a lot of actual, like, fun businessy stuff to talk about that I think will be of interest to a great many people. So I will see you then. Goodbye for now, everybody.